Today we are covering Lesson 6.5 Part 2, where we're going to learn how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide radical expressions. You see this basically finish up the first part of the Lesson 1, Standard 1.1b, add, subtract, multiply, and divide, and simplify radical expressions. Okay, first thing we're going to cover is how to multiply with these radical expressions. Alright, what you need to do here is, let's go ahead and break everything apart as far as we can. The first one is 6, and then I've got the square root. 8 is 2 to the third power times c to the third times d to the fifth. Multiplying that times 4, and inside my radical I've got a 2 times c times d to the third. Now, we can multiply what's outside and we can multiply what's inside. When I multiply outside, I simply get 24. Inside, I'm going to work with powers. 2 to the third times 2 is 2 to the fourth. C to the third times c is c to the fourth. And d to the fifth times d to the third is d to the eighth. Now, on the outside, I've got 24. Alright, the square root of 2 to the fourth is 2 squared. The square root of c to the fourth is c squared. The square root of d to the eighth is d to the fourth. Alright, 2 to the fourth is 4. 4 times 24 is 96. So I have 96 c squared d to the fourth. Now, this type of problem is not on your worksheet, but it's necessary to do some of the latter problems. Okay, this is another problem in which we're going to multiply. Notice here we've got the fourth roots on this one. So I've got to break it apart just like I did previously with the previous example. There, that's better. Okay, I've got the fourth root of 8. Now 8 is 2 to the third, x to the third, y to the second, multiplied by 3, the fourth root of 2, x to the fifth, y to the second, Now, once we've done this, we're going to go ahead and carry through on our multiplication just like we did on the previous problem. So I'm going to have 2 times 3 is 6. And now I'm dealing with the fourth root. 2 to the third times 2 is 2 to the fourth. X to the third times x to the fifth is x to the eighth. Y squared times y squared is y to the fourth power. And now I'll simplify. I've got my 6. The fourth root of 2 to the fourth is 2. The fourth root of x to the eighth is x to the second. The fourth root of y to the fourth is y. And so I end up with 12x squared y. That's basically multiplying. Next, we're going to be looking at adding and subtracting with these polynomial, or with these radical expressions. When we're adding and subtracting, before we can combine, we have to have like radical expressions. You will notice right here in this part of the problem, right here, they simplify each radical, and then as long as the radicand is the same, you can combine the like terms. So 7 root 2 minus 8 root 2, of course, is negative root 2. Let me show you an example here on this one. Big on this one. Okay, step 1, simplify completely. Now, 4 root 8. The square root of 8, well, 8 is 2 to the third power, plus 3 root 50. 50 is 2 times 25, and 25 is 5 times 5. So I've got 2 times 5 squared. Okay, now simplifying here, the square root of 2 to the third, I can take out a 2 to the first, and I'll be left with a 2 to the first inside. There's 2 to the second, there's 2 to the first, and 2 inside, plus 3. I'll take out my 5 squared, it becomes 5 outside. Root 2. Okay, so 4 times 2 times root 2 is 8 root 2, plus 3 times 5 times root 2 is 15 root 2, which results in 23 root 2. Okay? Well, that's an example where everything matches up nicely. This next example I've got for you, everything's not going to match up nicely. So, do the same process here. 5 root 12. Well, 12 is 2 times 6, and 6 is 2 times 3. So that's going to be 2 squared root 3. Plus 2 root 27. 27 is 3 times 9, and 9 is 3 times 3. So that's going to be 2 root 3 to the third power. Minus 128. 128 is 2 times 64. 64 is 2 times 32. 32 is 2 times 16. 16 is 2 times 8, and 8 is 2 times 4, which is 2 times 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's going to be minus the square root of 2 to the 7th power. Okay, and just as in the previous example, I can take out the 2 squared. It's going to become a 2 outside, so that's 5 times the 2 root 3. Okay, that is 3 to the third power. I'll take out 3 squared. That's just going to become 3 outside with a 3 remaining inside. And the square root of 2 to the 7th, well, think of that as 2 to the 6th times 2. Square root of 2 to the 6th is 2 to the 3rd. Now I'm left with a 2 inside there. So this is 10 root 3 minus 6 root 3 minus 8. 2 to the 3rd is 8 root 2. And the ones I can add together are these two right there because they have the root 3's. 10 root 3 minus 6 root 3 is 4 root 3. I can't combine this, so I've got my final answer of 4 root 3 minus 8 root 2. Okay, so now we've added and we've subtracted. Now we're going to multiply. When you're multiplying these type of terms here, treat them just like you would the FOIL method. All right? So we're going to do first, outer, inner, last. It's just a little more complicated because of the radicals. Okay, when I multiply the first two terms together, I've got 6 root 3 times 2 root 5. Well, that's 6 times 2 is 12. Square root of 3. And that had a 5. Okay, now for the outer terms. 6 root 3 times positive 4 root 2. So that's going to be plus 6 times 4 is 24. Square root. Okay, I've got a 3 and I've got a 2. Okay, first, outer, inner. I'm going to multiply these together now. Negative 5 times 2 root 5 is minus 10 root 5. And last, negative 5 times 4 root 2. Negative 5 times 4 is negative 20. Then my root 2. I'll simplify these, but you'll notice I don't have any second powers on any of these terms. So for my final answer, this one's going to be 12 square root 15. This one is 24 square root 6 minus 10 square root 5 minus 20 square root 2. 15, 6, 5, 2. There's no like terms. I can do no more than this. That's as far as I can go to simplify this one. All right, so the last thing that we want to talk about is division. Division, when a radical shows up like this, notice it's not just the square root of 5, it's the square root of 5 minus 1. Similar to what we did with imaginary numbers, you're going to have to use a conjugate. And you'll notice here, the conjugate of square root 5 minus 1 is square root 5 plus 1. So we're basically just changing the signs there. Now, notice on this part right here, same thing on top and on bottom, this is actually the number 1. So when we multiply it by this, we're not changing the value, we're just changing the way it looks. I'll do one for you so you can see how to do this. Okay, my denominator is square root 3 plus 4, so the conjugate of that denominator is square root of 3 minus 4. Whatever goes here also must go up here. That keeps the value of the number in red as 1. Next, I'm going to multiply similar to what I did in the previous examples. I'm going to use FOIL method. I'm going to FOIL the top, and then I'll FOIL the bottom. 6 times the square root of 3 is 6 root 3. 6 times negative 4 is minus 24. Negative 3 times the negative square root 3 times the square root of 3 is minus the square root of 3 squared. And negative square root 3 times negative 4, negative times a negative is a positive 4 square root of 3. Now we're ready to multiply on the bottom. Square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is the square root of 3 squared. Square root of 3 times negative 4 is minus 4 square root 3. 4 times root 3 is plus 4 root 3. And 4 times negative 4 is minus 16. Okay, now we'll combine our like terms, but before we do that, notice the square root of 3 squared is 3 here, and it happens again here. So now we can combine our like terms. I've got 6 square root 3 plus 4 square root 3. That's going to be 10 square root of 3 minus 24 minus 3 is minus 27. Now jumping to the bottom. First of all, notice I've got a negative 4 square root 3, positive 4 square root 3. Those two are opposites. They're going to cancel out. That's why we use the conjugate. It forces those two to be opposites. So when I take this, I've got 3 minus 16 is negative 13. Now that's one version of the correct answer. Another version would be to move this negative up to the top. In other words, just change the signs of everything up there and make this positive. All right, so that'd be negative 10 square root 3 plus 27 over 13. Means the same thing. It's just a better format to present your answers in. That's it for lesson 6, 5B today.